Hello, so we are going to be doing our second painting tutorial today. The painting that was chosen on Facebook is this lovely image. So we're going to be doing this lovely one today. I'm going to be using a canvas board for my painting. It's a 9 by 12 size. It already has been primed, so it's ready to go. And I'm going to be putting my picture right here so you can see it nicely. Oh, no, apparently you can't do that there. Okay. Well, then maybe that. Yeah. I guess that's fine. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is, let's start off. We're going to give a nice base of primarily yellow. So we're going to go with our yellow color. Duh. So on my, again, we have main colors. It doesn't look like we're going to be using any blue in this painting. So I'm just going to be popping quite a bit of yellow on my board here. We're definitely going to need some white, it seems. I think some red as well to get some of those oranges happening. Just going to put a little bit of red there. And we are going to need some black, but I'm just going to do like a touch of black for now, and then I might use more later. So I'm going to start off with my big brush, and I'm going to pop on a lot of yellow on it. Tons of yellow. And we're going to just start by getting the canvas covered in a nice layer of paint, starting with the sky, as the sky is the furthest thing in the picture from us. So we're just gonna going with this lovely, bright, beautiful yellow, and we're gonna be moving in a horizontal way. So you want to just have the brush go back and forth, and you're using the nice thick brush to get as much of this covered as you can. Okay, and don't forget to do the tops of your canvas and the sides of your canvas. And keep going with that. Okay, great. So let's just keep bringing on that lovely, lovely yellow till about, so just not halfway, just a little bit higher than halfway is where we want our horizon line to be on this painting. Okay. We want to just have the horizon line about just a little bit higher than halfway. So halfway is about there. So I'm just dropping it slightly higher. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to build in some of the reds, get some orange. So I'm just going to mix a little bit of red in my yellow to get a bit of a color. And we're going to bring that to where the horizon line is and just kind of start sweeping it back and forth. Your paint is still quite wet at this point, so it's going to blend very easily. Okay, if it's a bit too red, I'm going to add some more yellow back in and just keep building and layering the colors. Okay, I'm going to add some more red, pop that back in on the horizon line. Okay. Great. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Let's pop some red on there. So it looks like it's just kind of almost highlighting some of the land that's in the background, the clouds and the land that's back there. Just got some more yellow on my brush, so I'm just going to be popping that back in. Okay. And it's okay if you blend some, because you see some of the reds continue in the sky and the orangey colors. So I'm going to keep that going a little bit like that. Grab some white, and I'm just going to build in some of the white to the top, some of the parts in the sky too. Just going to go back and forth with the colors until I get the feeling that I want with it. So I'm just putting in some white in the center, and I'm letting it mix in. So my brush, haven't wiped it yet, so sometimes I'll get an extra streak of red, or sometimes I'll get a bit more yellow, or sometimes the white will come through, and that's what I like. And again, I'm just moving the brush back and forth So we're just kind of having a nice, fun play with the colors. Okay. Okay. So as anyone who joined me last time will know, I really like to have that wispy, all the paint kind of come out really nicely. So we're going to keep that going. Remember too, if you're bringing lines across, remember to have them going off the page as well. Don't just have it painted only in the center because then it will look a little bit too contrived. So just keep building and playing with the clouds and the lines until you're happy with the way it looks, right? Trying to keep the darker reds, like I would don't grab like a bright red and stick it right in the middle because then you're going to have like a really concentrated red spot. So if you want to go back and get some oranges and reds, then again start lower and then bring it a bit higher. And then drag it up. You don't want it to be overwhelming in any particular fashion. Okay. So then you're going to have a sky that kind of has, it looks like this. And I'm pretty happy with the way it is right now, which is super cool. And so now we're going to kind of replicate that same idea on the lower half here, right? Because whenever you have water and sky, it's the mirrors of each other. When you're doing the sky as well, you want it to be a bit softer. So if you have some more harsher lines, you want to make it a little softer because usually the sky, the clouds, and everything kind of blends in. You want to have those like streaky lines more in the water. Will give it more of that wet appearance. Okay, so now we're just going to continue on, and we're going to build up the lovely water. So again, so we have our board. That's better. And then we're gonna just go. And it's okay if your brush still has some remnants of red or orange on it. It's totally fine. Okay. We're gonna try to stay true where our line is here. Okay. I'm gonna keep building in this yellow. Your water. Okay, that's okay if the line's not perfect. Because we're gonna be going back and adding in some of that land that we see in the distance. And we're gonna be putting in some more of the reds and stuff to kind of give a nice balance of the sky to the water. Okay, and then with this, it's going to come kind of to a, I'm gonna build to a point in here. So you don't need to paint it all the way across. You can kind of paint it almost across, and you want to kind of bring it down because we're gonna have the land and stuff on both sides. But you still want to give it, you want to make sure you still get most of the background because you're going to have the different foliage kind of come up. And so we want that to still have the yellow behind it to really show the really nice water that we have playing here. Okay, and similarly to what we did at the top, we're going to do the same thing at the bottom. So in this painting, there's a lot more red on this side, so I'm going to grab some red, give it some of the yellow, mix it a little bit before I add it. Okay, and then I'm going to play with the colors here and bring it down in a back and forth horizontal way. Okay, I'm trying to maintain that integrity of that horizon line. Okay, and there's a little bit of red on this side as well. Not as much, but I still want to bring some of it in. And again, your painting shouldn't be the same. Shouldn't be exactly the same as mine. Shouldn't be the same as what we see. This is our own interpretation of it. So what we see, the image that we show is a guide that we use as a jumping off point. you want to paint it, you end up having totally different colors, and you're like, you know what, I don't want it to be a very yellow dominated painting. I want it to be purple or blue or green or whatever. You can totally do that. Okay. I'm digging this. Looks like I'm going to be needing some more paint very soon. Just bringing it all the way down, just leaving it nice and streaky. Again, I wiped off my paintbrush. Sometimes the red will come back quite a bit. I'm now rinsing off my paintbrush, just taking off all the paint in that nice thick brush there. And I have my paper towel. Oh, and I just got it all over my pants. That's, at least I didn't put it in my tea this time. That's positive. Share with me last time. As soon as I pretty much started my video, my first dab of my paintbrush went right into my tea. So that wasn't such a great way to start my day. I'm adding some more yellow to my palette because I've already run out. And I'm just going to mix some of it with white just to give me some differences to play with as I'm doing this water. And I'm trying to keep the lighter more along the middle part of it because we're going to be popping in the sun in here, and it's going to be right boom in the middle. We're not going to do it just yet though. What we want to do before we get to there, we want to make sure that the painting is dried, and that will let it sit a lot nicer there. I'm still using my really big fat brush, but I'm going to be moving into my smaller brush very soon. I'd like it to have a little bit more detail, and I feel like this fatter brush is, I'm enjoying the look still, but I'm going to be wanting some more concentrated, smaller lines going on. So if you're already at that point, then feel free to clean off your brush and change over. I'm going to do that right now. So again, just mixing my brush. Boop, 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 boop. Looks like some milky orange juice. Kind of gross. All right, I'm just going to rinse that off. Okay, beauty. Okay, now we're going to be going back to using a medium-sized brush. Back to using, haven't used it yet actually. Okay, so now I want to just add in some more detail with this medium-sized brush. So again, my painting is still very wet. So what I'll eventually do once it dries is I'm going to start layering in, we'll start putting in sun essentially, and the reflection of the sun on the water, just to get a good centering point as to where that's going to be. But it's not there yet, so if I do it now, it's just going to blend too much, and I don't want it to blend that much at this point. So we're going to let it sit for a moment. I'm going to just go back a bit and just add a little bit more detail to the sky because I kind of want to. So I'm going to put some more yellow and white on my brush. Maybe just more white actually. My brush is pretty dry right now. So remember, the drier your brush, it will look more like feathery, and the paint will stay on more on your canvas. When your brush is wetter, whether you use water to dampen it, which you absolutely can, something I haven't really done yet, you can use the water on acrylic, and that'll give things a little bit smoother look. Okay. So I'm not doing too much. I just wanted to make it a little bit lighter in that corner. I'm happy with it. I'm going to go in and I'm just going to paint in a bit of a darker line for this horizon. So I'm going to get some more red, some yellow. My yellow kind of makes my red look pinkish. Kind of not really what I want, but that's okay. Ooh, that's not what I want either. I want more red. Okay. build up a bit more red in the sky. I want it to be a little bit more impactful. Okay. Oh, my foot's falling asleep. Watch out for that. And again, I'm also just going to add some more red here. Kind of has a bit of a sweeping motion here. They're not all just horizontal. It kind of sweeps downwards a little bit on this side. Okay. And then we also want it to be a little bit darker right here. This one's going to end up being popped in. I need to get some more yellow on my brush. To blend it out a little bit. Okay, there we go. That's pretty much the way I want it. Yeah, it looks pretty good. All right, so now what I'm going to do is, what am I going to do? I'm going to put in our mountain in the background. That is what I'm going to do. Rinsing off a medium-sized brush. And I'm going to move to my thinner brush for funsies. I'm going to wet it just so I can make sure it comes to like more of a controlled point. And I'm going to put quite a bit of black paint on it. Quite a bit of paint on that. And so now, this is always the scary part whenever I go in to put detail in. So we're going to have our horizon line. And we're going to just drag it out. Okay. And we're going to build up the mountain. I'm going to kind of have it like this. You'll probably see the canvas showing through a bit, and that's okay. What you can do is you can add a little bit of water to your brush. You just add a little bit of water like that, and you then go over, you'll fill in those grooves, which for me makes me happy because I dislike those grooves. I'm just going to move my canvas down a bit just while I do this detail. Okay. I'll go like that for you instead. Okay, so I'm going to have this little mountain here. It kind of comes down into towards the middle. Again, I'm going to get some more water. Bring it outwards. Okay. I am putting my hand on the canvas, which is a dangerous thing to do. My sky is pretty dry, so I feel confident in doing that. I would proceed with caution if you are going to be following my process of doing that. You might end up getting some good stuff going on. Okay, so I'm just going to straighten up those lines. I like them to be nice and straight, but I want it to still look kind of rocky. I'm just adding a few little grooves to my mountain bit, just to make it look a little bit more, it's not as perfect. Adding a little bit of formation, so then veering a bit from the original image, but I like that. So we got that going, which looks awesome. Okay, great. So This side actually doesn't really have any kind of background, but it is a little bit more of like a darker red. So I'm going to get a little bit of red, I should say quite a bit of red with my blacks. I've just, basically I'm using the same brush I just used that has a lot of black paint on it. And I just mixed in quite a bit of red into the brush. And I'm just going to be drawing in the horizon line here as well. So I have that in. I'm also going to be putting a little bit of water on it. I need to hold this a little bit down just so I can make sure that the line is where I want it to be. Just going to bring that across. And I just want to paint that a little bit so can't see my canvas board behind it. And then on this side, it kind of blends upwards into the red. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get some more red on my brush and I'm going to blend that upwards into this area. Oh shoot! My paintbrush fell like right into the water, and that's not. I don't want that much water on my paintbrush. Okay. Now it's a little bit too much. I'm going to add some more yellow back in. Some red. Don't want it to be like a perfect line, but I do want it to be nice and blended. And you'll see when you have black on your brush, it's always a little bit more interesting to play with the colors. Just mirroring it underneath, so I have to do that too. So that's what I have right now. I'm not a super fan of it right yet, and that is okay. I'm gonna put some more yellow back on my brush. I'm gonna put some more yellow back in here. Okay, awesome. My foot is still sleeping. Driving me a little bit mad. Okay. Okay, so let's get rid of the black that was on that brush. Okay. I'm gonna go back to my medium sized brush right now just because I want to still get some more of this yellow and red. I want this orangey look to still come in here. Mine is kind of more of a salmon color, to be honest. So I think it's because the red I have is from the Amazing Dollarama. Has a bit, has more of it, has white in it. It's not like a pyramid, which is why it then comes out more peachy, pinky color. Not exactly what I want, but whatever, we'll deal with it. So, and it's okay to then go back and touch up the sky or do some things. That's what it's all about. Put in some more white. I love to play with color on it, so I could do that all day, just like touching up and playing with color and doing that color. So I love that. Okay, so now that we kind of have like where our horizon is-ish, what we're going to do now is I'm going to be adding in some more of that red to give that reflection on the side of my canvas. So again, I'm going to get some more red on my brush and some yellow, get my salmon color. Hopefully you guys have some more orange on your side, but that's all right. Okay, and then I'm just going to sweep it. I need some water actually, so it's a little dry. I'm just going to put some water on that just so it goes. And I'm going to put my brush like this so gravity helps me with my painting. Okay. Put some yellow now, and I'm just layering it in a little bit. I still want to blend it into where it was before. And then I'm getting some red, and then I'm just building in some of the redness from here too. And going back to the yellow. So I'm kind of just going back and forth with red and yellow, and I'm building the color, and I'm playing with it, and it's fun. Because that's what this should be. This should be fun. If you're stressing out, not what this should be about. This should be fun. You should be enjoying this process. Have fun with it. Have fun with the colors. It doesn't have to be perfect. And the more you let go, the more you'll enjoy it. And you might actually be pretty surprised with the results. You might actually be like, oh, look at me. I'm a painter. Oh yeah, did you guys see that about the ink that was like spilled in like water in West Toronto? People like, I guess, were taking like a stroll, and I saw that. I can only imagine. I mean, I would have been super freaked out considering everything that's happening. I just walk by trying to go for like a nice peaceful stroll, and I'm like, oh, okay. The water has looks like blood in it. That's comforting. Sounds great. Creepy. You know what? I put white on my brush, and I don't think I actually want to use it. That happens sometimes. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna rinse off my paintbrush again. Yeah, like a minute. My water's gonna spill. What is that? So I'm just gonna rinse off my brush. Just, ooh, cat just totally freaked me out. He sneezed, and I didn't realize what he was. Freaked me out. Okay, so we kind of have a nice. I'm liking the way the vibe is. So it has nice reds and building some nice color here, which I like. So what we're gonna do now is let's plug in where we want our sun to be. So I'm gonna go back to my thin brush. Make sure when you go back to your thin brush, you have no black on it. So take all the black paint off it. Now you're gonna load it up with lots and lots of white. So you can have lots of control on that. And now we're gonna say, okay, like where is the sun gonna be? I want it like pretty much dead center. So I'm going to put it here. Okay, so with the white, let's fill that. Okay. And my foot's falling asleep again. It's absolutely driving me crazy. Okay. As I'm doing it, I feel like I can feel like the paint's still wet underneath my hand. So trying to be conscious of not moving my hand around too much. Okay. Then I'm gonna get some water, and again do the same thing, just kind of build in so I don't have the canvas showing behind it. So I don't like the way the texture looks of that. And I'm gonna kind of try to make my sun, you know, symmetrical. So it doesn't look weird. Hopefully that looks all right. And I want to build in, I want to make sure it's very, very white. And add a little bit like that. And then I'm going to stop for a little bit and let it dry. As it's kind of doing its thing, there is some nice like red clouds that go in front of it. So we're going to be layering that in a little bit. What I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start putting in the reflection of the sun in the water. So the way we're going to do that, my thin brush loaded with white paint. And I'm just going to like plop it on. My paint is pretty dry below it, but not like fully. So yeah. Okay, and I'm not gonna be shy. I'm putting in like globs of white, and that's the way I like it. So you do you. I would suggest doing the same because we can still soften it out afterwards. Okay, and the pure white kind of goes about, so if you look at where your line is, your horizon line to the bottom of your canvas, the pure white goes almost halfway, like just a little bit higher than halfway. That's where you want it to go to. And then it continues with yellow. So I'm going to be mixing my white with a little bit of yellow to kind of get a very like pale, a very light yellow. And I'm going to continue it down. Still too yellowy. I'm going to continue it down. Okay. Kind of just continues all the way, all the way, all the way. Okay. All right. Ta-da! All right. And then on the sides here, the yellow, there's actually yellow, and it kind of like mirrors those white, not mirrors, what do you call it? Frames, is that what it is? Outlines. It goes on the sides. So you want to get some of that pure yellow again, and you're going to just build it onto the sides, and because that kind of makes it like it's in this reflection. And you want it to be very, when you're doing this part, I'm using again the small brush, and you want the strokes to be very like quick. You want to be able to see it. I just touch a spot I don't really want to touch, but again, that's okay, this happens. And then we want that to build out, and then we're gonna kind of build it out a little bit. And as I'm going to be touching up my water that way too, I'm going to get some more of these colors, mix them up a little bit, and then I'm going to play with it. Maybe adding some more lines, some more colors in here. I'm going to get some water too, because it's a little too thick, and I want it to have a bit more. Okay, we're just gonna have more that one. Nice. I'm just gonna get some more water, and I just want you to play with it until you dig what you're doing. And if you're already at a point where you're like, yeah, I'm good, I'm just gonna wait, that's cool. You can wait for us to catch up with you. If you're feeling like you're a little bit behind, the great thing about this is that you can watch this video again. You can go back, you can revisit it, which is pretty cool. Some more yellow in here. It's very. I'm okay with leaving kind of more like globs of paint on it. I like the texture in the water. I should say I like the texture of the paint. I don't like the texture of the canvas. That's my thing. So I like to kind of make it kind of have this blurry like look to it. I'm gonna build it up a little bit from there. I'm totally gonna spill this water. I know it. I feel it in my bones. I'm gonna put some more white back in where I removed it, but I want it back. I'm digging it. That's good. Yep. So what I'm doing is I'm just continuing with the paint strokes and just adding a little water to soften up some of the edges that I want to soften up. I need to go back and just fix up my horizon line a bit because it looks kind of weird. And I actually don't like that there's some white stripe that's coming out of my sun area. I don't like that too much. So I'm gonna dull that down with some yellow. So don't want it to have this white coming out of there. That's better. I like that better already. Okay, good. Okay, cool. And then I just want to touch up my horizon line because I kind of messed it up a little bit. So I'm going to go back with this red and dot of black. Oh man, black is crazy. You have like a dot of black and the whole thing is black. So make sure like you use hardly any black. It's so powerful. I'm just gonna touch that because I didn't like the way that was. And then I'm just gonna add in, so the sun at the bottom has a little bit of like reddish clouds. I'm just gonna do that to add that in like that. And I kind of want to bring in this dark-ish red color on this side too, because I didn't really add that in before. It's almost like a red purple. Again, my paints are dollar store paints, so never really know what you're gonna get. They work out pretty good. I'm still pretty happy with what I can produce with them, so hopefully you are too. I got some yellow on my brush and some red. I just rinsed it because I wanted to get the black out of it, and I just wanted to tone these down a little bit. A little much for me. A little bit too much. I don't want them to be too crazy. I'm just being cautious. Like I'm kind of going a little bit crazy-ish with my brush, but I'm being cautious not to go over my mountains. So I want to keep them pretty intact. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I'm actually gonna go back because I took out a lot of the white in the sun and I want to put it back. So that's the great thing about painting is that you can do that. You do something and you're like, well, actually. So yeah, I just want to put that a little bit back in. Yes. Okay. Fantastico. All right. So now we have your lovely sky. We have your water. We have some reflection going on, looking pretty nice. Pretty exciting. What we're going to do now is we're going to start building up the whole shadow black background that we have at the base of your canvas. I'm going to switch back. I'm going to use my medium-sized brush. I am going to need more black than what I have on my canvas. I'm going to pop more black on there. And then we're going to get the black. And I'm just going to, because I want to do my sides of my paintings, I'm going to start with that because I want the sides to have the black of it. And the bottom. So I'm going to do that first. Sides and the bottom. My arm's like directly in front of your view. Can you tell? I'm a professional videographer. No. Okay, so that going. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm getting the black, so Canvasio, and I'm going to just block in the black at the bottom. And I'm going to get some water just to make it a little bit easier to spread, but not a ton of water. And I just want to bring that up to kind of cover my canvas that I have exposed still. So it's going to kind of come this way, and then we're going to add in some nice elements to it, okay? I love it. I love adding, I love having color on canvas and then adding black, and then all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, I am so talented. Like it just pops it. It just makes it look so good. It's ridiculous. Okay, so I'm adding the bottom. All right. There we go. So I got some bottom stuff going on, so that looks pretty good. All right. So now, don't think I want to use this one anymore. Although I kind of do want it to have like a vibe of it being like crazy, like this shrubbery and stuff going on. Some of it. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm just getting my brush, and on the line I just made, I'm just dabbing it so you can kind of see the texture from the bristles. Like that. All right, we're gonna pause for a moment. All right, let's continue. Okay, great. So, oh, stopped. All right, so now we're gonna put in a lot of the lovely details that we see in the picture here. So we have a lot of these like pussy willows, another type of like marinery, I guess, that would come out of the water. We also have obviously our crane and the reflection of the crane on the water and some rocks. So we're going to start putting in some of those lovely details. And I'm going to be using my fine point brush to do so. So again, I'm going to just put some water on it. We're going to get black paint on it, and we're going to start wherever it feels good. So, okay. So, so I want to do my crane right away. Crane's really big. So his head is like all the way up here. We got neck, got his body, and then his feet come down that way. He's actually like a really big portion of this painting. So he kind of actually, just thinking about how big he is, kind of freaked me out a little bit. So I'm not going to do him just yet. I'm going to build up to that. And what I'm going to do is there's some pussy willow type things here. So I'm going to block them in. And just bring down. Whoa, this thin paintbrush, not very thin. Not working the way I want it to work here. All right, get some water. All right, so let's grab this, bring it down. I need to get another paintbrush, to be honest. Okay. Pop those in. Pop those in. Maybe on a larger canvas, that won't look so silly. We'll see how that goes. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I'm going to try to keep this brush very thin. It's going to be a little tricky to do. Okay. And then we have our lovely line coming out. Okay, we're going to put in some more. Okay. Keep that nice and thin. Keep that nice and thin. All right. I don't know. I don't know if I like it or not. We'll see. We'll see. Some more. I'm just gonna keep building in some of this shrubbery, water, kind of marshiness, and just play with it a little bit, bring the lines up a little bit. I'm gonna stop caring so much about all of it and just have fun with it. Like I keep telling you guys to do. Let's just do that. Okay. Now some of these crisscross, and some of them have little like you just want to give those impressions of the things that you're doing. Mm. Do we like it so far? It's all right. Those are still bothering me, but you know. Okay, so I'm just adding little dots with my brush. And then a lot of these come all the way off, like all the way up here. So let's just do that. Okay. Oof. Ah, keep going there. I'm just gonna go with it. Just go with it. Because really, why not, right? Because you guys know, like, some of my pet peeves are just like how I can still see the canvas and it's not like thick enough. But then the trick is, then when you have really thin lines like this, you are gonna have this look, but like you want it to not be too thick, but you don't want to run the risk of going over it and then it looks too thick and looks weird. So it's where it's a little bit tricky to do. Okay, so I'm just going over, I'm just trying to be as thin as possible with my paintbrush. Okay. And it's okay to have like a wispy look in the background at times. That's actually fine because it gives it some nice texture as well. So it's totally, it can totally work for a benefit. Now that I'm kind of getting a better feel for my paintbrush, I'm just going back and just adding a little bit more in spots that I want to. Okay. I don't know, I'm gonna start with those next time. Okay, and then with some of these, it's actually like they're thicker at the heads of it. So we're just gonna add a little bit more at the heads of some of the lines to give it more realistic vibe. Okay, so it kind of has more of a vibe like that. All right. I'm just adding some more lines that are coming from the outside because I think it needs a little bit more movement. So I realize a lot of my lines are very like straight, and that didn't really correspond with any type of like actual nature, like where the wind might blow it or an animal might have like stomped through this area. Maybe like something that's going in front of something else. I'm just adding that in. Okay. Okay, this is actually taking me longer than I thought it would. I'm really not digging some of these lines that I'm creating. So I'm just going back to soften them. All right, I guess I'm not really going back to soften them. I'm actually going back to make them thicker. I'm doing the opposite of what I just told. Okay, so, all right, so that's what we got so far. Ah. Okay, so let's get some more black on our brush. Okay, and we're gonna go and get all of these similar type of lines back in. So on this side, it still goes pretty high as well. So, and it kind of does a curve too. So let's just pop that in. Don't be shy. Scary, it is. Put them in where you like them to be. Just being mindful of my brush to make sure that I feel very smooth, and I try to make it as thin as possible. Just putting in the lines right now, and then we'll go back and put in some more. Some of them might end up being quite thick. That's what's happening. So we're just gonna go with it and enjoy it. What can we do? Okay. So with some of these, again, I'm just gonna add it to be a little bit thicker to give it kind of a willow type vibe. The tops. This is not working out the way I want it to. Okay. Yeah, same thing. I'm just gonna add some heads here. Can you see what I'm doing here? I'm not sure. I kind of forget about that every once in a while. When I talk to myself, it's actually just me talking to myself like I normally do. Okay, and added a few little dots. I'm adding it to a few, just for texture and just make it a little bit different. Okay. We got some kind of lines there going on. So, like I said, I am not digging it the way I want to be, but I'm not a professional painter, and you are joining me just to have fun. So there you go. And this is free. So. Stuff there. Okay. You know what? We're just gonna leave it like that for now because I don't like it. That's just what's gonna happen. Okay. So now Now we're gonna pop in our bird crane. Let's see how this goes. Okay. Okay, so also my lovely thin brush. I'm gonna stress myself out. Okay, I'm gonna start with the head. So I'm going to go with the beak and go like that. And then I'm going to build the head and go down with the head. Yeah, that's it. There we go. Okay. All right. It looks like a bird head so far. So far, so good. Ooh, I put quite a bit of water on there. Let's not have that drip down my canvas. Okay. The beak is not exactly the way I want it. It needs to go a little bit further and more of a dip. Okay, I'm happier with that. All right, I totally touched it. Oh, I'm gonna put black everywhere on this canvas. Okay, okay, it's okay. We're gonna do it. Okay, and then I need some more water. Oh, this is so stressful. I honestly have to remember to breathe during this section, this part. Oh, it stresses me out. Okay, and then we're gonna bring down the neck. Okay, and then he's gonna, it curves, right? Like it curves in. Like an elegant bird that he is. Okay, and then it gets a bit wider. Okay, and then it goes into his backside. Now it has his wing. Okay. It's working, it's working. Just believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Okay. And then we're gonna have it come on this side. It gets a neck and then I also have a little bit add a tush. Okay. I want to go back and just straighten it up a little bit, but I'm scared. Okay. 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 And we're gonna keep building this body. This bird looks like a bird. People would look at it and be like, "That's a bird." Okay. And some more water. Okay. And then we're gonna come back. Okay, where does it go down? It's not quite far. It's a really big bird, you know. Do you like it? Okay, I don't like this here. I'm gonna make this a little better. Okay, and I want this to be a little thicker up here. Ooh, I hate doing this part. It always scares me. If I do something a bit off, it's gonna fuck it up. Okay, and then I think I might leave it like that. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of like a weird, like it kind of like comes out weirdly here. I'm just gonna touch it up a little bit like that. Okay. The back's a little, I guess, straighter than I got it. I'm just gonna do that too. Okay, and then it also looks like I had kind of like another kind of like wing or something. It's not like super straight. It's like kind of makes like a ridge, and then it has its tail kind of thing. Okay, all right, it's a bird. That's cool. That's cool. And then we are going to put the legs in. The legs come Okay, so the further back leg is here, and it kind of, don't go away, thumb. Okay, so it kind of starts up a little thicker. Okay, and they go and a little thicker. Okay, and the same thing on this side. So they start off a little thicker. Okay, and then okay, and then it kind of stops because what we're gonna do is we have to like add in because he's in the water, right? So the legs don't go all the way down, and he also has his reflection essentially, and it's basically here. And then so now we're doing the water with this black. So again, we're gonna be brushing it out. So we're gonna use the same kind of flow that we had earlier. And this comes all the way down. I need some of that. We still want this sideways. Sweet. And we want it to have quite a bit of paint too. Okay. And then this kind of comes out further, this bottom part of this. Yeah. Okay, and it's okay if it kind of is messy, that's fine. Okay. I'm just gonna go back and fix up the legs up here a little bit and add more of those lines too, because it kind of becomes in the water. Okay, so there's that shadow with the bird is happening there. And it's got some more water, and I'm just bringing it across. Okay. And I think it actually starts a little bit higher, so I'm just going to make his legs a little bit fine. Okay. So there we go. We're done. Almost. So there's still a few more rocks, and there's some more, what do you call it, shrubbery that we can add in here. So I'm going to add the rocks. The rocks are easy to do. Again, you just need black. I'm just watering it down a bit. And they're just like blocks in the water. So one rock is here, and it's like, oh, hi, I'm a rock. Like that. He's like, hey, kind of look like a car. But not a car, I'm a rock. And then there's another one there. And then we have another rock, which is like here. There's like another rock. Yeah, it's like rocks. No big deal. No big deal. The rocks. And then that's like another. Definitely didn't do that very well. I'm gonna bring this out a little bit more. Small bird, but big shadow. Okay. And then there seems to be another kind of shrubbery there, but I don't know. Okay. Okay. And then there are a couple birds flying in the background. And we love birds in the background, right? Mm. Beautiful. Very light, not beautiful. How pretty. So pretty. Okay. There we go. Okay. Hello. So, and then our last thing that we're going to do, we're going to wrap it up. I might still end up touching it up or doing a few other things with it afterwards because, you know me, I can't help myself. But the last thing we're going to do is we're going to sign your name at the fortune. Yep, so I just put my initials, LM20. There we go. And there we go. Great. Ooh, I should take that out of the water. I try not to leave my brushes like soaking in water. I don't know. I think I don't know if I was told once it's not good for them or something, but in my brain I'm always like, oh, it's not good. Okay, take them off. But yeah. And there you have it. So you got our crane by the water. Oh, there we go. There's some light. Nice. Nice. There we go. Ta-da, da, 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 da. Thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it.